Well, everybody wants to talk about sales process. I want to talk about sales stages. I want to talk about that sales methodology, or even the selling motions of how it all comes together. None of that matters if you don't tie everything back to the buyer's journey. Has to go back. Far too often I see companies in my consulting days where they're literally trying to shoehorn their prospect into all of their processes. Instead, no, let's flip it on its head. Let's go out there and say, what if we understood how they buy, who buys, when they buy, is there a buying community, and what's the criteria? And then we now take all of our processes and reverse engineer how and why and what they buy. It's amazing how things will change. And because this has been the key for so long, it's time to recalibrate. We've got to do things differently. Here's what I think we need to do. First and foremost, we've got to make sure we go back and take a look at our ICP on an ongoing basis, or their ideal client profile. That shifts. Could be quarter to quarter, could be year over year. But every half year, you've got to go back and sit down co-jointly with all the different lines of business that actually touch the buyers and say, we still have this right. Has it shifted? Not just has it, but why has it shifted? And how do we now make sure that we can present all of the right content, all the enablement, and some training at the right level for each one of their roles inside of the company? Right. The next is, all too many times I've talked to companies and I say, can you walk me through your buyer's journey? Oh yeah, we go through this and this is how they buy. That's not what I'm asking. Who is it? When do they buy? How do they buy? Is there a committee? Who's engaged? And who are the influencers, and actually who are the decision makers? If you can't articulate that right away, it's time to go back to the table. Next piece is making sure that we've got to tighten up those short and holes in the wall between sales and HR and marketing and enablement. Why? Because there's not enough acronym, I'm going to throw one more out there. We've got the ICP together, but what about the IEP, that ideal employee profile? As your company grows and matures, that's going to shift. It's not enough to just go and say, you know what, we're going to go get the rock stars from our competitors and bring them in. It doesn't work that way anymore. Or you know what, we're going to take our BDRs and SDRs and make sure that we throw them in so that they're prepared. Not enough. Look at where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what it's going to take to get there, and then again, reverse engineer and work from that angle. The next is that methodology, those sales processes, those are important, but make sure that it's realigned to that new alignment with the ICP and with your new IEP as well. And finally, it's that collaboration piece. Get together on a monthly basis. You should be getting together, or your enablement person should be driving a meeting so that everyone comes to the table. You get a chance to have a true conversation and make sure that, hey, you know what, we've got a boot camp coming up. Product marketing, do we have the most recent first call pitch? Hey, product marketing, I've heard this request 5, 6 times. Can we either get that thing moved up on the release cycle, or at least start talking about it and preparing for it? You know what, going to sales and saying, you know what, our IEP has changed. And so I think now what we're going to do is, because we've got a more seasoned seller, I don't think we have to go as deep on the front end. Let's go deep and wide on that back end. If you're making those changes and iterating on a constant basis, it's amazing how connected the company becomes.